Hi everybody, welcome to my November Flosstube update. It's a little late, it's the start of December already. I think we're well into the first week, so you'll have to bear with me. I did not get much stitching done in November or this first week in December here, so it's still a November update. So I'll get started with my works in progress. This one, if you'll recall, I was stitching a bunch of cross-stitch ornaments. This one is from the Just Cross-Stitching Christmas 2015. And this is, what's the name? Oh, Peace by Lindsay Lane Designs. Right there. So, and I don't remember if I'd started this in my last video, but I ran out of the thread that I was using. So here's where I got. So this is DMC 816, and it was killing me because I was like, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it? And no, I did not. So with the Joann sale, where all of the floss was for $1, I was able to replenish my stash and kit up a bunch of projects for next year. So this was one I did pick up the 816 while I was there, but there's that one. Next up, it's still on the Q-snap. This is from, well, it's the traditional wedding sampler from Just Cross Stitch June 2016. And here's what it's supposed to look like. I say supposed to look like. Here's what it's supposed to look like. Yep. So, if you'll recall, as I said, it's still on the Q-snap. But here's where I'm at. So I've done about half of the interior. It's all bands through to here. There's another band here that I haven't done yet. But I believe when last you saw it, I still had not yet done these vines over here. I didn't get much work on this, actually. But I did some of these vines over here, and I filled in a couple colors on this area. But that was, I did about like an afternoon on this. So, getting there, but slowly. Like every time I feel like I'm almost done, I realize there's like these two swans here and then all of the border still to go. So you can see there's, I've started some of the one color on the border over here, but yeah, there's a lot. Like if you see this here, this corner is done here. So that's like so many colors in that one little motif there. And that's repeated in every corner of this vine area here. And also in here, there's a bunch of flowers with different colors and everything. But they all kind of mimic this color scheme. You can see a little bit of one here. Oh, but runny nose. But so that is also in the border as well. So like I've gone through and done one of the colors, a little bit of one of the colors, but there'll be more and more flowers. But getting there. Slowly but surely. Okay. This one, where's the pattern? Okay, so this is One Nation's Bygone Stitches. Wow. Bygone Stitch is One Nation. I screw that up every time. This is the one where the stripes are the states in the order that they join the Union. So I have done, I think, quite a bit since last we spoke. So there's the blue. That's what I was working on mostly. I can't even get in the picture with it. But there's the blue. So I finished the outer border on the blue and I started filling in these stripes there, or the squares, which I've been stitching in stripes essentially. But I also started some of the stars, the white stars, because I figured if I left those all till the end, that would be like the last thing I'd want to do. Also, it's nice because I don't really have to worry about counting in these. I mean, I can count. I think the worst I count to is like 4. Is 4 stitches? Yeah. Wow. So yeah. So that's the worst I have to count, as opposed to like over here where I'm counting over and like trying not to screw up by the end. I don't remember how many bands I had the last time, but started on Vermont, ironically, because that's where we went for our honeymoon, but I did not get to finish it. I think because that's when I started on the blue. Yeah. So a lot of progress on that. As much as I would like, but again, not so much stitching time this month. I did get married and all. Okay. Ah, this one. So one of the days I was having my stitchy bug was gone. I was just tired and I didn't want to count and cross stitch. So I was not really wanting to stitch on anything that I was currently working on. So I asked one of the Facebook groups, I'm like, hey, like, what should I stitch on? I could stitch on this, I could stitch on that. And everyone gave their feedback, and then I decided I was just gonna start a dimensions kit. Seriously? So this is a Dimensions Gold collection. It's called Winter Memories. And I think it's one of the ones that I showed on my last video as having been in my stash for some time. I had never done a Dimensions Gold kit before, so I didn't realize that it would be like different numbers of strands of floss combined together. So that was an experience, especially when I was like kind of brain dead, and yeah, but it worked out because I did some of this, well, I'll show you, but I did some of this sky. Here, I'll show you my work. Yeah, so I did some of the sky here, which was great because it was 10 stitch, so it went really quick. And it's like, just all of this is like one block of color. So I had to be careful where I was counting like the border, you know, where the one color becomes the other color. But other than that, I was just like stitching along. So and then I did the tree. This was kind of crazy because this is 6, it's all 6 strands. And I checked the pattern to make sure I was right on that, because it was very hard to get through the fabric even. Some lint. But it was very hard to get through the fabric because it's 6 strands, so we'll see if I actually did that right when I get further in the pattern, because I don't know how I'm going to stitch the rest of the tree because it's so like squished together. I mean, this is not small count either. I think it's 14, so I don't know. Read it, reread it, but I was pretty brain dead that day, so I don't know. But I mean, this went so quickly, so I'm actually really excited about this. I did have to use my hoop, as you can see, which I don't normally. I usually use my Q-snap. But but it was so close to the edge. So that makes me nervous. So I'm just hoping I have enough on the other side. I hate when kids do that. I suppose I could like sew some fabric to the side, but yeah. I don't know. But now I can put it in the Q-snap because I'm away from this corner. I wanted to do this corner. This is maybe obvious to you guys, but this is the corner over here. Right? Yeah. Yep, so I'm excited to get to the house because it's, well, it'll be a change, but I am enjoying the sky because it's very tent stitch, goes quick, so quick. I love it. I've actually never done a piece with tent stitch, so that's enjoyable. It encourages me for actually attempting a heaven and earth design. But spoilers. Okay. This next one, I'm not sure how much progress I got done since the last time you've seen it. I think I stitched on it for like a day and then realized I just, yeah. This is my Mirabilia Roses of Sharon. So I did, I'm getting there. I did a little bit more of the roses over in this corner, or over in this column. And I started on that other, I started on this motif there, if you want to call it sculpture, I guess. Sculpting in the column. But, I mean, I'm so close. Like, I really should just sit down and finish her. It would take, like, what? A week, maybe? I don't know. But it, like, I'm parking for up here, so it's very, brain intensive, which apparently I keep mentioning it, but apparently I don't have a lot of that lately, so for stitching anyway. I'm using my brain for other things. Crazy. But yeah, so that's my Rose of Sharon. I'll give you another run through of the full piece because I do just love her. But I think especially now that I'm done stitching the figure in it and her fun pretty dress, I think I've just run into, you know, need to finish her, but it's just not going very quickly. Okay. Oh. And this one, I'm not sure I've actually worked on this month. This is from Just Cross Stitch, October 2015. It is called Laughing Moon. It's this one in the corner there. Oop. I'll edit that out. But yeah, it's this one in the corner here. So I've done, it's hard to see on here, but I've done the little pumpkin. I almost picked it up the other day, but then I remembered how much counting it was going to be. So yeah. But it would be a good stitch for like next Halloween, but I don't want to like put it on a shelf until then, so we'll see. Okay, this next one, I know I said I didn't get much stitching done, but this is the one that I actually like stitched the most on, which is ironic because last time I was saying how I was just moving very slowly on it. This is my yearly stitch along, Snowflower Diaries Joyful World. So last time I had January through May stitched up, I believe, and I had outlined June. So you won't believe me when I say that I didn't have much time to stitch this month, but here's what I have. So there's January, February, March, and April. Can't see. April, May. So I stitched up all of the inside of June, which was hard because these are lazy daisy stitches, which I had never done before, and I found them very difficult. I don't know. I looked on the internet. I think part of it was because I was using, this is even weave. So I was going up and down out of the same hole, and I think I needed to have a thread. I needed to go up and down over a thread because the circle was just getting pulled through the hole that I was coming up and down out of. So I had stitched up. I had the whole thing stitched except for those lazy daisy stitches, and it was like, I want to say it was last weekend, and it was like Saturday night, and I was like, I'm either going to rip this whole thing out or go to bed. Because I was getting concerned that I was just getting so frustrated with the lazy daisy stitches, and I was worried that like I was getting frustrated enough that I was like going to accidentally like cut the fabric while I was frogging them. So I just went to bed. Because I figured that was the better outcome. And the next morning I woke up and did the lazy daisy stitches and finished it, and that was exciting because I, you know, it was like 9 in the morning and I finished June, so. But then I did July as well, which was a lot of stitching. I say that about every one of these, but I don't know. It was a lot of stitching. Because at first, when I was stitching, I was like, oh, that's not that many colors. That's weird. Because a lot of these are, you know, they have the same amount of colors. And it just looked like when I was looking at this for the first time that there weren't as many colors. But there are. So as I neared the end, I realized there was like a couple stitches of some colors. So, yeah. But it's cute. It's got the little flamingo baby. Yeah, so I stitched this very much in piecemeal. I didn't just sit down one day and stitch it all. I stitched a little bit and went to work, came home, stitched a little bit. So maybe it just felt like it took longer because I was doing it slower. But I don't know. I also wasn't in a rush with it. I was just like, you know. I think I posted on one of the Facebook groups, so I have 2 more here and then a third row, another row of 3. So I posted on one of the Facebook groups, I was like, do you think I can finish in 2016? I was being sarcastic, but it's not going to happen. I really don't want to stress myself out that much to try and get that done. I'll probably be doing the Frosted Pumpkin. Couldn't think of the name. Oh my gosh. I'll probably be doing their stitch along next year. I've requested it for Christmas. So, but I think I'm not going to stress myself out and try and get this finished. But just look at it all. Can't see you guys, but hopefully you can see the whole thing. Yeah. So that's coming along. Oh, yeah, that's the last of my works in progress. I guess I should have warned you. But, oh, what am I going to stitch on tonight? I don't know. So many possibilities. Anyway. Let's see, what else do I have to show? Let me just pack some stuff up here. Oh, we have some stash acquisition that I didn't show you last week. Some of you may know I'm doing the Stitch from Stash 2017. So I think I mentioned it, but so I kitted up on all the Black Friday sales, I kitted up some of my patterns. So the fabric is still coming. So when that comes, I'll do a Stitch from Stash like 2017 plans. But I don't think it makes much sense to show you the patterns without the fabric. But that being said, this I had hinted at last time. So this is the Heaven and Earth that I picked up when they had their chart sale a couple months ago now, I think. It's Old World Map. And I do just love this. We used to have one of these hanging in our house growing up. Just like a, painting, not cross stitch. But I love that pattern. My dad used to have a job very similar, ocean oriented. So yeah, I just love this. And then look, there's like people in the corners, so those will be fun to stitch. It won't just be like all tan all the time. But yeah, it does make me nervous because it's huge. It's a 24-page pattern. This is gonna be, oh, it doesn't say. I must say on, oh, there it is, excuse me, 450 by 376 stitches. So it's gonna be interesting. But because I did tent stitch on the Dimensions Gold Collection, I think I'm gonna like this. So I'm thinking 25 count tent stitch 2/1, because then I can use the loop method to start the thread, which I think would be good. It's taken me about 2 months to decide. That's, I mean, I had other things going on, but that's, mulling it over to debate what count I want to use, what 2/1, 1/1. But I think I like when I can use the loop method. I think it is a little more relaxing for me than anchoring the thread each time I start it. So I think the loop method is the way to go. So I think I'm going to do 2/1 on the 25 count. Because it seems like that's what most people do. And I think that would be better for tent stitch, to use the 25 count with the 2/1. So that was a huge roadblock on me deciding to actually stitch this up. So, or I should say on the path to stitching it. Of course, I decided to stitch it up. I bought the pattern. Like, that's the first step down the slippery slope. But, yeah, so I'll be actually stitching that, which is kind of terrifying. And I picked up the thread too. So all I'm missing right now is the fabric, which I have not bought. I'm waiting for Heaven and Earth to have a sale. I know they just had one. I don't even know if fabric was included, but it was like, the idea was to give random act of kindness to someone else. So I didn't want to buy fabric for myself. So I didn't take advantage of that. But I do have the pattern and the floss. So yeah. But with Stitch from Stash coming up, I don't think I'm going to be buying the fabric anytime soon, unless I use my credits from finishing other projects to actually buy the fabric for this. But we'll see. Because I did buy fabric for most of my other projects. So this is the one outstanding one here. Anyway, let's see what else we have. Oh, finishes. So back to the just cross-stitching ornaments. Oh, this was a 2016 one. I swear I pulled everything out beforehand this time. There's always one, right? Let's see. Last page I look too, like always. Here it is, actually. This is by Kesslins. It's called Amazing Star. Over there. And I don't believe, I think this is a new start. I don't believe I had started it the last we spoke. But it's also a finish. So, I didn't count very well in terms of spacing it on the fabric. So I started up pretty high and then I was like getting real nervous towards the top of that star there. I almost left the star off, but I think it's nice. So yeah, I goofed. This is in variegated thread. It's the JP Coats, if I'm saying that right. My mother-in-law had picked up a whole bag for me at a like a trunk tag sale, craft sale, tag sale kind of thing. So I used the green, obviously. What I didn't take into account was how much, like, how slow the change in variegation was. So, like, over in the corner, like, all of this is yellow, so you can't really see it. So, like, this bottom part's fine, because I didn't have a very long strand, so it didn't include much yellow, which is why all of the yellow got caught, like, in through here. Like, this whole loop is yellow. But then, when I realized my error, I switched to, I actually cut, the next thread that I cut the yellow out of it, because I didn't like this effect. So then I just went with the green up here. So I was gonna do this as a Christmas present for my mother-in-law, for giving me the thread, but before I realized the yellow issue. I can't really give this away, so I'll probably put it on my tree. Maybe when I get a tree. We've been procrastinating, but yeah, just not very happy with the yellow. I really should just rip it out because I like the design. It's just those sections that you can't really see. You know, like if I hold it far enough away, like it, yeah, looks a little funky. Well, maybe it's fine. I don't know. But I do like the design. I would stitch it again. It stitched up really quick. I messed up the counting somewhere in there, but you can't really tell. Maybe the yellow hides that. I don't know. But it was fun. And I think it would be good. Maybe the next time I'll try it in a solid color. Because you can tell really like directionally where I was stitching first. Like I stitched over this first and then came back under this and over this and under this, over this, you know. So it might be better not in variegated, but adventures in variegated falls. Anyway. Okay, next up. This I think you've seen. I think I showed you this before. Yeah. I think I've shown you this. But that's from Just Cross Stitch, this one. So, with that exciting finish in mind, that I was happy how this turned out, I decided to try and finish some of my other ornaments that have been sitting around since last year. I shouldn't have shown you this last. You're going to have like a horrible leaving impression of me. But I had shown you the finished piece in my last video and said that, yes, this will be most likely getting FFO'd. Well, I FFO'd it, and here it is. Yeah, it's not circular. So I wanted to get my initials over here, so I kind of cheated out a little bit over here, and then there were the hearts that wanted to, you know, highlight, so I cheated out over here, and for some reason the rest of this is not circular. Yeah. So I think the moral of this story is if you have a circular ornament, do something else to it. There were a couple of ideas I had originally like played around with on this of and you know, hindsight's 2020, so troubleshooting. It was like, well, you know, if I had just stitched it in a square, I don't think it would have been bad. So I think the next time I have a circle, I'll stitch it in a square. Like maybe I'll add some like embellishment, like a little like swirly cross stitch in the corners so that it looks fine square. But this didn't end well, obviously. The other thing I was thinking of maybe like the top of a mason jar, somehow using that. I've seen that on Pinterest and in several books that I've read, cross stitch books I've read. But yeah, so let me, you know, give you the full impression of how messed up this came out. There's the back. I like the fabric. At least that I picked okay. But yeah, the actual like execution of the stitching in a circle, not so well. Because I was trying to accommodate, like, it's not just a circle, right? So like there's parts come out, parts are thinner than others. Like it's taller than it is wide. I'm gonna stop trying to defend what I've done. It's a learning process. Yay. We'll do it again. So there we go. That's still gonna go on the tree because why not? Again, when I get a tree, because we've been procrastinating. But yeah, that's all I have for now. And when my fabric comes in, I will be able to post a Stitch from Stash video. So I do hope you'll appreciate that. But other than that, thanks for watching. I hope to get a lot more progress in December, but we'll see. Holidays are coming up. Anyway, happy stitching, everybody.